YouTube, what it do is your boy Benji, and we back in between the ropes. I'm on business today, you can tell by the collar shirt, and I've got to chat with y'all about some of the hot takes that I've got and some of the hot takes y'all got about Money in the Bank 2025. We can get right into it, man. Obviously, the biggest piece of the show was the return of R-Truth, but that had a lot of people divided because Triple H went on the presser afterwards and tried to point a finger at us and laugh and say, "You guys got worked." Pay attention to the show. See you on Monday. Y'all going for this? Y'all going for this? Something told me it just didn't quite sit right. And again, that's why I was one of the people that didn't make a video about R-Truth. Because and truthfully, I mean, you never want to see people really lose their lifestyles. You don't want to lose their livelihoods. And a lot of people pour their blood, sweat, tears, and put their body on the line for professional wrestling. So it's tough to see them go. Something just didn't sit right to me. That R-Truth, after being randomly inserted in one of the most popular storylines in WWE against the biggest star currently, John Cena, to then be released 2 weeks later, didn't quite sit right, make sense with me. But we're going to hear a lot of people out. Because Triple H said it was a work. If you guys actually think the R-Truth situation was a very thoughtfully put together 3D work storyline, I've got a bridge to sell you. Clearly, you're not humble enough to admit that we all got worked. You think they fake fired someone in the middle of firing people for real, just for issues and giggles? Thinking everything is a work was wrong with you fed fans. WWE gets a very nibble of something, and it's very easy to turn you on to the biggest thing known to man when it's awful. You might be the most delusional person on this app today. Saturday night's main event, using gear and merch that had the nickname Ron Cena instead of R Cena or Truth Cena or John Truth. The promos between the two of Saturday night's main event planted seeds of a serious R-Truth. Truth's last promo before the match between Jason Mateo was less comedic. You got worked. Or. The R in R-Truth means Ron, and just like everybody knows his real name, because he uses it on all the socials. It rhymes with John. So y'all gonna tell me that WWE is this good at long-term storytelling? John Cena came out last year's Money in the Bank with his merch here. An all red titled The Last Time Is Now. And then R-Truth's play on that was Ron Cena. Farewell to 2025, Never Give Up, which is literally just the same shirt, but it basically had like some funny puns up there. They had this plan all the way back in Money in the Bank 2025. Okay. I'm in 2024? Okay, interesting. Okay, gotcha. So if that was the case, then you would have thought that they would have developed a little bit of a story for John Cena and R-Truth, right? Wrong. If that was the case, then you wouldn't have people like Carlito mentioning that they actually got fired. My contract is up in 2 weeks. It will not be renewed. On top of that, WWE is demanding that I pay back the money they paid me for apparently stealing money from the company. Gracias, WWE, and especially the WWE Universe. Lo quiero mucho. Valhalla / Sarah Logan actually got released. WWE informed me yesterday they're letting my contract expire. To be completely honest with my ego, I can't help but be damaged. You always assume that when you end a lifelong career, there's going to be a grand exit. But here I am using the notes app on my phone, typing up a goodbye letter to an entity that will forget that I was even there. All Triple H had to do was say that we heard you. Guys, let's take a second to think about this. So, for years, we were getting bad WWE programming. There were some good spots. There was some good character work. There were some good moments. Particularly if you look at the last 5 years, Roman Reigns' return and him pulling together the bloodline. That was one of the biggest things that happened in the last few years. The story was compelling, captivating, and it was able to draw on a lot of other characters. But outside of that, did we get many other stories and plots that a lot of us were able to draw to? Can't really think of too many. Ways that we were able to utilize the fans in a manner that reality and fiction was blurred to the point where we really elicited real reactions from people that led to changes. And in recent memory, I can think of the Cody Rhodes situation in WrestleMania 40. The Rock was awarded an opportunity that was originally supposed to be set for Cody Rhodes. He came out there and said, "This is ain't right." And that ended up being one of the biggest stories, one of the biggest moments of the year and of the last few years. But then are you going to tell me that that was so masterfully drawn up, but the entire Cody Rhodes championship defense was bad? And lacked story, lacked any character development, lacked any growth, lacked any compelling feuds? And then you guys are going to say that we got worked so badly with R-Truth that there wasn't even a story attached to R-Truth other than him just randomly getting selected to match up against John Cena because he showed up at the match against Randy Orton and John Cena, took an RKO, and then wanted to come backstage to John Cena to apologize, and then took an attitude adjustment to a table, and that made him say, "I don't know who this guy is. What I'm going to do now is challenge him to Saturday Night's main event." And the match that lasted a couple minutes. He lost. John Cena never spoke about him again. John Cena didn't even speak or do any press runs prior to the match at Saturday Night's main event. Didn't cut one promo. And then following the match at Saturday Night's main event, we got to see R-Truth match up against JC Mateo. And a few days later, he announces he's gotten released. Y'all trying to tell me that the WWE was able to masterfully put together a plan that was going to work us so badly that people were going to be chanting, "We want truth" in the arenas. Nobody even mentioned it. We had CM Punk respond quickly in the midst of his promo on Raw by saying, "You got to cheer for a guy that's not here." And then John Cena quickly pivoted and said, "You guys chant for the truth, but you can't handle the truth." And this was so masterfully done. You thought this would have been cooked up a little bit more, right? We had a couple moments on TV where R-Truth was like, "John Cena, nah, he's a good guy." That's it. That's all we got. If this was the truth, we would have saw this massively have been cooked up. I mean, we see a Grayson Waller and a Judgment Day turn. We've seen this get teased for week in and week out and week in and week out. We didn't get to see that with Ron Cena. R-Truth. Mr. Ron Killings. They're able to listen to this much response and generate this much chatter and talk. But up until this point, the John Cena heel turn has been abysmal. It's been nonsensical. It's lacked grounding. None of us even understand what Seth Rollins is looking to do. But you're trying to say that we got worked. I thought this was the only way to say things. I mean, originally when it all happened, I said, "Yo," and I could find a video. I said this. The only way that this makes sense is if R-Truth comes back or John Cena is able to at least say, "Yeah, I did it." We haven't even gotten a finger pointed to John Cena. So what is R-Truth attacking him for? Shouldn't you be attacking the last dude that beat you, Jason Mateo? You challenged John Cena. John Cena beat you fair and square. I want to see, since WWE writing is so amazing, and we were able to get worked, let's see how they continue to move forward with the storyline. How this is able to change John Cena at his core, and how this means anything for the dynamic and relationship between these two and the people around them. Let's see it then. Let's see it then. Rhea was wearing the newly released R-Truth shirt at Raw this past Monday. I'm pretty sure WWE included some people, especially their marketing team. Do you think they included that back in on February when he wore the shirt himself? and somebody has video from one of the moments that show where R-Truth is talking to the crowd in February with that shirt. If it were store and part of the show, how would it make any sense? They didn't resign me, so I came back for vengeance against John Cena myself. I agreed to take a pay cut, but on one condition: I could get a shot at John Cena in the WWE title. I thought I could save John Cena by being R-Truth, and I got close. How? You didn't do anything. You literally made John Cena more mad. That wouldn't make any sense. But now I know R-Truth don't cut it. I'm going to say pro wrestling from John Cena by being Ron Killings. I guess. I'm going to show him what I can really do. I'm going to beat him sense back at him. That's what he said in his promo. But R-Truth himself said this was no work. I do agree, though. We can't listen to all wrestlers when it comes to this type of stuff. Now, this was another divisive point. Seth Rollins had all the factors that didn't require him to specifically need the briefcase to get a world title shot. He's got the bronze. He's got Paul Heyman. While LA Knight has been in a bloodline vortex and fighting 2025 Nakamura, he has consistently stayed over every time. Tonight was a moment to get him finally into the main event scene and commit with him. The fans would have given you the nod. Now the guy has nothing to do on SmackDown. It is what it is. It is whatever. The booker doesn't want to give you the ball. How's your business? But we getting worked, right? So this is a part of our work too. This is something that we thought this could possibly be some type of development for our my man LA Knight. Nope. If you guys recall, last episode of SmackDown, we had Aleister Black cutting promos on him. Shinsuke Nakamura is still talking about him. Like, again, I'm not completely obtuse to the situation, what's going on here. I think that we've given a plot device away to Seth Rollins, and I think that at the end of the day, it was one of those situations where we possibly got booked into a corner. LA Knight being in this match for the third straight time, being one of the fan favorites, yet not winning, it's got to be tough when you got somebody like Seth Rollins who has the ability to snap his fingers and bring in the help of the Bronze and Paul Heyman, in order to ensure he has total control in the company. He should be able to do whatever he needs to do to get whatever he wants to be done accomplished. Because he is still Seth Rollins at the very end of the day. He should have some type of leg or something like that. He should be able to pull some strings because he is who he is. And then if you add these type of people that are willing to follow and step behind him, he should be able to get things done. I agree with that. I'm so tired of people justifying this with LA Knight as Money in the Bank doesn't fit this storyline. Did Priest fit any storyline in 2023? They forget that Money in the Bank is good for a year and storylines consistently change. Knight could have held on to this case, building drama for a while. Exactly. Seth Rollins was the last guy in the match needing another world title reign. Jesus, who is LA Knight going to cash in on? Cena? This obviously is not happening. Again, are you stupid? You can keep the Money in the Bank briefcase for a year. We are in June. He could have had this briefcase until next June. We could have had a scenario where the last year's Money in the Bank winner is cashing on the next year's Money in the Bank winner. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Could it be crazy and tough to draw out? Yeah, absolutely, but they could. You know what I mean? Theoretically. Seth is taking the World Heavyweight title from Jay. That is a tad predictable. But how exactly is Knight supposed to navigate a Money in the Bank win? Think, please. I mean, literally, I think that would have been the excitement of him having the belt, or the briefcase, was that we all could have tried to see what is LA Knight going to do. I thought he should have went to Raw. Because, again, I think it's a pattern that we continue to see the person that wins the Money in the Bank briefcase cash in on the title holder of their respective brand, instead of actually gunning after any championship, other than Austin Theory. So he would not cash in on Seth Rollins? What are you talking about, man? Seth was going to take the title off of Jay regardless. I agree. Genuinely just talking just to talk. Cena isn't even going to be champion by next year. Are you slow? Reading between the lines. Sami is winning that title at Mania. What? That is very clear. They're even teasing it. What's your next plan? Knight cashing in on Sami? Sure. Cody's obviously beating Cena, So Knight catching a Cody? Sure. Y'all fans for a reason. This dude just said Sam is going to win the title at Mania. All right. The holder of the briefcase gets to keep it for an entire year. Cena won't be here in 2026. In fact, a lot should be different by 2026. Y'all who say this act like the person holding the briefcase has to cash in as soon as possible. So Knight keeps the briefcase for a whole year and you won't react. Guys, we've seen multiple people keep this for a long time. Literally just dialing back to last year. Damian Priest cashed in at WrestleMania. We've seen people cash in the same night, like Drew McIntyre. If you had to think about it recently, and we've seen people hold on to it for a while. Cena's not passing this year. Cody's beating him, and Knight will cash in on the WWE's biggest babyface. Same goes for the man who likely beats Seth. Knight will cash in on either, so what's plan B? Not only think ahead. You can hold the briefcase for a year. You would have cashed in on Seth. But here's the thing. If this is the case, then that means nobody's going to beat these guys. Nobody would beat them. That's all that means. And why would you not cash in on the WWE's biggest babyface? Because, I mean, if this was the case, you could just attack somebody backstage and then, hey, just call a referee. I want to make this an official match. But, you know, it's not how the Money in the Bank briefcase works. Typically, it has to be in a match where somebody's already contesting for the championship. So, again, if this is the logic, then no other person would be able to organically win a match against these people unless they turn heel or face. They know the crowds want them to win. They're making part of the finishing fake-out sequence every year. It will continue to stay over no matter how trash the booking is, but it won't lead to any rewards. That has been made clear. Guys, I'm pretty sure if you pay attention, Chad Gable / American Grande Americano has been in a lot of Money in the Bank matches. This is an article back in 2023. Natalya had been in 4 Money in the Bank matches, yet hadn't won. Kevin Owens had been in 4, hadn't won. Cody Rhodes had been in 4, had not won. Matt Hardy, Drew McIntyre had won 5, had been in 5. And I guess I don't think he was in the 2023 one, but he was in 2024, which made 6 before he finally won. Shelton Benjamin, Jericho, Kofi Kingston. So look, I'm reasonable. I understand that sometimes you just have to have some people in it that would logically fake you out to possibly be a potential winner. Sometimes they're just going to get in it and it just doesn't work for them to win. LA Knight's going to get other opportunities. I realistically think he should just go to Raw, though. I'm tired of seeing the bums that on SmackDown even make him look like a threat. Like, this dude lost to Jason Mateo at the show I went to. I went to the show and watched him lose to Jason Mateo. I went to the show and watched him lose to Jason Mateo. But anyways, all we can do, like Triple H advises us to do, just turn in, watch the show, and see how things develop. And we can either cheer, boo, or complain. That's it. I think that there is potential to be a lot of drama if Seth Rollins is able to cash in on Jey Uso, and this could develop a lot of storylines. I think anybody else that was in the current Money in the Bank match, though, on the men's end of things, I mean, they're just back to mediocrity. I mean, I don't know what Penta does after this. I don't know what Andrade does after this. Don't know what LA Knight does after this. Nor do I know what Solo will do after this. It looks like it's probably going to end up in a SummerSlam match between him and Jacob Fatu. But again, I don't know what the belief would be in Solo because everybody's like literally turned against him. He's supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns too. He hasn't done that, but whatever. I guess it's probably going to be before then a match with Jason Mateo and Jacob. This should be an utter and absolute Jacob assassination. And Grande Americano, I don't know. Is he supposed to just get healthy until Rey Mysterio? Like, he's supposed to just keep doing this until Rey Mysterio gets healthy? Don't really know. But we'll tune in one way or another. Appreciate y'all stepping in. Send me something to chat about, man. I love to have conversations in Discord with y'all. Appreciate y'all. Check out Patreon, too.